Okay, welcome everybody to the November 2022 Raleigh Astronomy Club imaging meeting. Tonight's topic is on our favorite object to image. And so all the members here, I welcome you to go ahead and share an object that you may have imaged over the years, or hell, if you really want to, you can show us an object that you've been itching to image and tell us why. So with that, short and sweet, because it is nice and dark out there. The forecast is a little bit dismal for a while, so this is a good time to go out and image. We'll make this as fast as painless as possible. So who wants to go first?
I could
Nobody?
go.
Okay, go to me.
Share screen. Okay. Um, so my favorite, I think, would have to be the Iris Nebula. This is, what I was showing with some of the dust processing in the workshop previous months. I keep coming back to it. It was my first target for tonight. Just bumped it for quintet, but yeah, LBN 487. It's a reflection nebula in Cepheus. There's an open cluster in it, NGC 7023, about three light years across and 1300 light years from Earth, so pretty close. And I like the color of the reflection nebula with all that surrounding dust. Yeah, I keep coming back to dust. So this is my first go at it was with the doublet and one-shot color cool cameras. This is the William Optics Zenith Star doublet, the ASI 533 MC. Think this was, oh, let me look at this. This was 19 hours and change total. I've learned a lot since then, but it was enough of an interesting result that I came back to it. This was the image from the dust processing workshop. So this is wider field with the same camera, but a 135 millimeter Rokinon lens, cropped a bit to, get rid of the bottom portion of this image. Was pretty dustless compared to the top. So this is what I retained. And this
And
one was
Naveen, you said that was with the 533?
yeah.
And with the Rokinon, what do you have to do to, because you connect it directly to the 533, I'm assuming.
So I have a EOS drawer from ZWO. So you can put a 2-inch filter in it. And with the 533, I had to have a filter to reach focus. So the UV-IR cut. If I forgot, I went to Big Woods with this setup and forgot that filter and was not able to reach focus. It took me a while to realize that was what the problem was, but yeah, so lens, filtered drawer, and then the camera just screws onto the drawer. It's a fun setup. I'm thinking about setting it up again just because there's so much you can get wide field, and it's very forgiving. My mount's not that great guiding sometimes, and when you go shorter focal lengths, it doesn't matter. This is with the Skywatcher 150 PDS. It's a f5, 6-inch f5 Newtonian. And this is again with that same camera. I keep using the 533 MC. Started this out at Three Bears Acres for one of the first Fridays many months ago, and then got a little bit more data in my backyard. I think this is 3 hours-ish. Yeah, 3 hours and 12 minutes or something. And then I'm working, so finally I put the monochrome camera on this target, and I'm working on getting more data. It's one of those where I'm just gonna go all in until it's no longer possible to collect data, and doing a LRGB. But I did a quick processing of what I have already, which is 11 hours. I can't remember what the breakdown is right now off the top of my head of how much luminance versus color data, but it's mostly luminance. And that's what I have. I mean, it was really quick. I mean, the core here is a little bit too bright and whatnot, but it's the dust in the surrounding areas is promising. So
Yeah, I think as far as aesthetics go, all the pictures I've ever seen of the Iris Nebula, actually go back one slide on yours.
sure.
Um, for me, what's most aesthetic about this one compared to your other one is that, yeah, the core is not blown out, but the diffraction spikes just add to it. Some people hate diffraction spikes, but when it comes to something that's like bright and intense in the middle, it's like, well, in the movies, you always see diffraction spikes or lens flares emanating from such a thing, and it just captures your attention. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
really like that image right there.
Yeah, this one, I mean, I like all of them, but yeah, the diffraction spikes, I've been surprised with the Newtonian. It adds something to all the images. Like it's not on every star, it's on the really bright stuff, and it's a certain quality to it I just really like visually. Yeah, you're right. This one, I spent like 30 minutes doing this. So yesterday I started trying to process it. I did a video card driver update while it was doing something, which caused PixInsight to just give up. So I had to trash that, and then it froze when doing something else today. So I'm like, all right, I got 20 minutes. See what I can do. But yeah, that's my target.
Great target, Naveen. You did a great job with it.
Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Here I'll go next. It's just a folder with the same image over and over, or object over and over. Nothing as nice and formal as yours, Naveen. So, let's see. Get this to work, but it kind of goes over what Dave Filipowski was talking about as far as presenting something for an imaging showcase at the regular RAC meeting in December. Let's see. Hold on. There. Okay, everybody sees that. So this is not my favorite thing to image. I don't really have a favorite thing to image. One thing I like taking is time lapses, but that's kind of really hard to really go through and show all the details of why I like doing time lapses, because it's pretty much just the same object over and over again, just changing or whatever. But I just chose to show the Orion Nebula because it's the one object in the night sky that image over and over again. And so here's this one. This was from 2008, and this is what's termed an afocal image. It's basically where you have a camera with a fixed lens on it, or like a regular point and shoot camera, and I mounted it to the eyepiece, and was using, there wasn't any 3D printers back then. So what I did is I made a mold of the actual lens section, if you will, of the point and shoot, and made it completely out of cardboard and duct tape, and was able to mount it nice and firmly to it. And unfortunately, the camera was only able to go up to 30-second exposures. So this is what I got. And so you see the kind of pitfalls with doing afocal. You're going to see some really crazy stars coming out from the middle, being a little more pinpoint, and then drops to the side, and it just gets all nice and hyperspacey or warp speedish, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so that's 2008. And let's see. This is actually the next year, 2009. And so that's when I got an all-out DSLR. This was with a Canon 350D, Canon Rebel XT. There we go. That's what it is. Canon Rebel XT or 350D, depending on how you like to go by the different camera models. And this was through actually the same telescope. So in both the previous image and this image, that was taken with a Schmidt-Newtonian design made by Meade. It's exactly what it sounds like. There's a Schmidt corrector plate, just like a regular Schmidt Cassegrain telescope, like the C8, C9, C94, C11, in front of a Newtonian mirror, or with a Newtonian mirror elements. Okay, so it's got the mirror at the base, and then it's got the secondary set in the middle of the opening, and lets all that light back up into your eye for an eyepiece, or in this case for the camera. So you can kind of visualize that Schmidt-Newtonian. And the series was called LXD 75, and they I guess they're not around anymore, but like the last line that Meade made that used Schmidt-Newtonians, it's called an LX 85, I believe. And then they went bankrupt. I don't know what happened after that. So, but getting back to the subject matter, as far as objects being imaged, there's that one from 2008. Then the next year I was able to get that. It's funny, the thing I like about this picture is I showed it to Mark Lang one time, and I asked him, this has been processed so you don't see it as much. I was like, how do I fix it so that the whole field of view is evenly illuminated? And he said, oh, you got to use flats. And I was like, flats? What are those? I don't know. So he's like, I had seen the term before, but I was like, well, what is that exactly? Okay. So I researched it a little bit, and it took me a while to get to make actual real flat. Before that, I had this little procedure in Photoshop that I used to make fake flats with, and it works really well on. It worked really well on like star clusters and galaxy, but for diffuse extended objects like a nebula, it doesn't work very well. So, anyways, then I went back to it again in 2012. This was with a what was it? An RC 8. It was an Astrotech RC 8. And this was with my newest Canon DSLR. It was a 600D, or the model, the Rebel model name for it is T3i. I actually still use it. It's really, I don't see myself not getting rid of it and upgrading to something else as far as a DSLR that I would take as a sort of as a travel camera if I want to just take some lenses or whatever and go to the Outer Banks or whatever. But yeah, that was with an RC8, and the focal length for that one was 1600 millimeters, which is actually double the previous two. This the Schmidt-Newtonian tube, that's 800 millimeters. But anyway, this is 1600 millimeters, and it worked great. And then all of a sudden it lost collimation, and collimating an RCA, as some people may have heard, is a real pain. And so I finally just got frustrated with it, and I sold it, the scope, to John Sadler. So he has it now. He said he's struggling with getting it collimated. I'm like, yeah, don't lose sleep over it, or try not to. So anyways, and then there's this one, which is probably, I don't see myself going back, knock on wood, lots of wood, going back to image Orion Nebula for a very long time, because I think this is as good as it's going to get. And this was using that same DSLR, the newest one, the 600D that I used for that one, with a 630 millimeter APO by Stellar View. And so it's a 90 millimeter lens element, and took the color with the DSLR, and then I took the mono with a an ASI 183, the mono being just hydrogen alpha, and we use the hydrogen alpha as a luminance layer. Lots of people do this. So, and then finally, this that I showed back during the Imaging Target Challenge as far as Orion Nebula, Orion constellation, or whatever. So there's Orion Nebula down there. All I need to do is just add color to this. And I was thinking about, this is what I was talking about, Naveen, is I'm trying to image this tonight into the wee hours where everybody's mostly to bed, and we'll be coming up in the east where it's there's no light pollution in my eastern part of the sky. So that's nice. And who knows, maybe I'll be able to get some hydrogen alpha out of it and to show up on the in RGB only. So anyway, so yeah, this was with a this is actually a 2-panel mosaic. It's a 85 millimeter lens with ASI 183, and I believe, yeah, I think it's oriented exactly the way you look at it right now. I took the main Orion Nebula and the Horsehead Nebula one night, and then I went upwards relative to this to the Bernard's Loop, that nice large stream of hydrogen alpha that you see there. And so, anyways, that is not my favorite object to image. It's just the one that I have imaged the most. So yeah, I don't really have a favorite one. So sorry, guys. Then why did you bother presenting tonight, Chris? Well, just because. So who would like to go next? Anybody? Should I volunteer somebody?
I can go.
I can go.
Mark can go. Mark can go.
Did Jim jump in?
All right, I'll go. Not being the awkward search for the share. I know it's around here somewhere. Share screen. All right, there we go. All right, so my object is Andromeda. It's one of my favorite objects. I don't know if it's my favorite object. My favorite object is usually the one I imaged last. But this is my first attempt. This is my Meade refractor, 70 millimeter with the DSLR. And this is, I think I've owned the mount and the telescope for 3 days at this point. And I shot this in March. So if you're gonna, I don't know if I could pick the worst time of year to shoot Andromeda, but I knew what it was, and I wanted to go after it. So I don't remember how many frames I took. It wasn't many, but this was in Raleigh. But this is just sort of the joy of imaging. This is the first time catching Andromeda. Was exciting. Next one we'll go to is this one. And so this is 6 months later, same setup with a DSLR, Canon 5D full frame, and the Meade refractor. It's an f5, and so this was 6 hours of data in Raleigh. Some bloated stars and a not very smooth background, but getting there. Next thing I tried was, this is just sort of trying around with the Sky Guider for the first time. And this was with a 135 millimeter lens, f2.0, and now I'm down to just 3 hours of data to get this with a 135 f2, and this is still in Raleigh.
And still with that 5D?
Yeah, so almost all these until I get to the very end are all with the Canon 5D. And then from there, I tried out the 200 millimeter, and now I'm up in Virginia at Smith Mountain Lake. And this was just sort of a test shot, which I was on the dock, so not even the most stable place to be. And I got all of 18 and a half minutes worth of data, 200 millimeter f2.8, and Bortle 4 made all the difference. This is just sort of playing around with the lens, seeing what it could do, and then I got kind of funky with the colors.
Sorry, this is with the DSLR still, or
it's still the DSLR, so this is still the 5D.
okay?
With the 200 millimeter lens.
That's a great test shot.
Yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't expecting anything out of it. where do we go from there? And then I think this was for the imaging challenge. And so I'm like, all right, we're gonna make my definitive one now with the DSLR. And so now I did 6 hours, but at Smith Mountain Lake, so Boral 4 versus Raleigh. Had a little bit more practice with techniques, although it doesn't take long. You start to look at it and go, gee, why did I process it that way? But started to bring out more details. Star still loaded. And then a couple months ago, I got the ZWO 2600 mono and started learning how to do filters and LRGB or HARGB. Where did I go? We'll go back here. And so this is my first time with the 2600. So that's with the 2600 mono. And how much data did I do on this one? So this is 5 hours again. And with how much HA? 30 by 240. Whatever that works out to, a fair amount of HA on there. That's about what I got.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very nice. So what's how are you going to take it to the next level, Jim?
I don't know. I guess get a bigger telescope and start doing some panel shots. About the only thing I can do with it.
Well, something I've seen other people do, and I think I mentioned this at a past meeting, is do a mosaic of, we'll probably end up using a camera lens because it'll be excruciating with a telescope. Probably know where I'm going with this, where you get the Andromeda and RAC and RAC's Ghost, of course, that star, and then another star, I can't remember which one that is, and Andromeda, and then finally Triangulum on the other side. So I looked at it. I know I could probably do like with an 85 millimeter. I think it would take me 4 panels to do it with the stuff I have. That's 85, but that's with a very small sensor too. So, who knows?
That'd be cool to see them together.
Okay, who'd like to go next?
I guess I can.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Mine's going to be a little bit different from everybody else's. See if
I have
can...
a feeling I know exactly what it is.
All right, we'll see if it plays out. Let's see, I want this one. Okay, so I'm not
Yes, I knew it.
I couldn't fool you. I like this object probably better than anything in the sky. This is Barnard's star. It's a little red giant, not red giant, red dwarf in Ophiuchus, and it's like a 9.5 magnitude star. And but the thing that makes this have a claim to fame is the star is the fastest moving star in the sky. So I took this particular photo last year in 2021, and right above the plus sign, can you see the plus sign, my cursor?
Mm-hmm.
That's Barnard's star right there. And I use this circle. See this little
Asterism, I guess.
Yeah, asterism. Jerry Watson, who introduced me to this object, called it the flying wedge. And he told me that back when he first started observing this star, it was right about where the plus sign is now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so Jerry is no longer with us, but I really thank him for introducing me to this. So this is what it looks like just through my 4-inch f5 refractor. And so the rest of the pictures I'm going to show you are going to be kind of more like in the green circle. So here's just a little bit closer view of it. So there's the flying wedge, and there's Barnard's star. This is I think this one's 2020, so it's a year difference. But I've been photographing this object You talk about going back and doing things over and over. I've been working on this thing probably since the 80s. And in the last 20 to 25 years, I've photographed it just about every year. And because of that, I can make animations. And so this is a black and white animation. I made this with my old S-Big CCD camera, but this is an 11-year animation of how the stars moved every year. So this is like 2005 to 2015. And it's just remarkable to see it change. Now, this looks a little bit different from the first picture, the first two pictures I showed you, because this has been rotated 90 degrees. But there's, kind of some interesting things in this picture. Watch, can you see the pointer? Watch this star right above the pointer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So unknowingly, I caught a variable star. And
Okay,
you'll see it wink
Mm-hmm.
almost out and then come back. And then you can't see it here, but there's a nice little galaxy that I kind of watch every time I come back to this thing. Let me go back to this one. You see, it's hard to see, but there's a little galaxy right above the plus sign there. And so I, keep an eye on that thing.
Do you know what the
But
name
anyway,
is?
I'm sorry, go
You
ahead.
get a number for
I have it recorded somewhere, but I don't have it handy tonight.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
And
But
that variable, do you know what that variable's period is, or?
again, I looked that up and I've forgotten it and I don't have it with me tonight. But
Okay.
it is, yeah, it's that's a fairly faint star there. So, and this is with a tiny CCD chip here. So,
Oh, I remember that camera. You having that camera.
yeah, I still have it and it still works. It's just the field of view isn't very big. So, and then finally, I decided that I was tired of looking at these things in black and white all the time. So this is a 30-year animation of the star. And so the first one down here at the bottom when it goes back was 1995 or 1994. And then the next jump up is 2000 and then it's 5-year intervals. So it's 1995.
I take it that that first frame there is from film.
Yes, it was taken on film and then scanned in.
Awesome. That's great.
And I don't know why. Anytime I can't think of something to do, I make sure I take this picture. It's a summertime object, so the skies are generally kind of crappy. But and one thing I really have learned over the past 30 years is that focusing with a Batinoff mask is ever so much superior to the way I used to do it with full width at half max way back when. So, and in the earliest days in the 1990s and before that, I just focused by eye.
Very good.
All right, let me see if I can release this.
Mark, why is it moving?
Mark,
I'm sorry.
Why is it moving so fast?
It's just moving through space. It's the closest star to the Earth, number one, and it's moving fast. And so its apparent motion on the sky is, great.
Much faster than everything else.
Yeah, I've got on my website, I've got like 4 or 5 different fast moving stars. And I guess one of my second favorites is Piazzi's star in Cygnus. It's a double star, color contrast double stars that are moving together, sort of like this one, except there's 2. Okay, I'll stop the share.
Mark, that was excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was very interesting too. Wow.
I kind of do offbeat things.
I like it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
You always capture like near Earth objects and everything. And of course, if there's any accomplishment or program that I would like to get into at the Astronomical League and awards I would like to get, it's imaging 12 comets. I'm 2 away from that. I'm two away from that, but you've like what, done it twice over already or something like that?
I've got around 50, I think.
Gee, oh my gosh.
I've got 2. Wow.
Very well done. Very, yeah. Okay. Who wants to go
Thank you.
next? Nobody? Nobody has anything else to show.
I just briefly will show you again. Well, I'll just go ahead and show it. I'll just go ahead and show it.
All right.
I also like Orion. For some reason, I've been fascinating it for just ever, and I've been doing just a number of different things with it. This is the one I've been experimenting with just adding the old lenses. I'm trying to use my existing equipment, and I did end up getting the 385 MC from another member, and then I'm just trying to use I used to do a lot of birding photography, so I'm trying to use some of my old lenses, and that's why I was asking some very specific questions of you all about sort of like, what are you doing to get the focus in and to help with some of the, I don't know, I don't know exactly what even to call the sort of ghosting images that are occurring around some of the stars. But it's just, I've always enjoyed Orion. I'm up at the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, just sitting out there, just staring at the puppy. I just like it. And as I shared in that one little thing I did, this is one I did up from New York. This is without all the sharpening and everything. But my brother-in-law's got this house with Bortle 5s or 4, I'd say 4.5, 5, but just spent a while out there at just 16-second images and just loved it. And this is with my Orion 130 millimeter with the 385, but you can see such a tiny field of view that comes up with that. So that's why I've been trying to go with some of the lenses that are more in the 200 millimeter range, the 400 millimeter range, just trying to shift it around. But still a neophyte in terms of the long term, like I've always said, in terms of just watching the stars, but I'm still kind of new at this aspect of it. But this one I liked, and as you said, you got some of the diffraction spikes there, which I think are pretty cool, and it really didn't blow out too bad for the trapezium. You can still at least see that there's kind of something in there as you look at it, and you've got a little bit of my dust in there, so I like that one.
Very nice.
But I'm always drawn to that. I just, and that's, like I said, that's been forever. I just like that one. And then like I said, with this is just throwing on just one of those lenses and trying to figure out, if there's any way to really crisp and sharpen it up. So that's why I was asking some of those questions earlier.
So are you using with that one right there? Or let me back up. What kind of mount are you using? Like what?
That's been the change too, because I recently this mount is just the EQ2 mount, and I use a little motor drive with it, just on the RA. And I do some with Sharp Cap. I do a little bit of my own manual guiding. So I'll go ahead and target an object as the view is coming up, and then I'll go ahead and link on an individual frame, see how far it's shifted, and then just kind of do a little motion to bring it back into frame. But then recently I just got the Star Adventure, and where do we go in that one? So I've got the Star Adventure now, which really has shifted my ability to get, really track an object, which has been nice. Just getting a very good PA. I do both the Sharp Cap as well as the PA that comes with the device itself. And so I can sit on an object for a long time with very little shift in my own manual guidance. So.
Well done. So take it to the next level. What do you want to do next?
Well, that's why I'm asking some specific questions about cameras and those kind of things. I've got a little bit of budget, And so I'm trying to decide how I'm going to spend it or what and you guys you've asked some awesome questions, because I think it starts with trying to decide what it is you want to see. You know, same with watching Marks, and that was just fascinating to see something like that over a long period of time like that. So it's a matter of trying to understand, you know, what is it I'm really trying to capture and understand. I love the motion. That's why I was really fascinated with your Marks. I've been a watcher of comets and the meteor showers and just thinking about all the different movement happening up there. So it's really sweet to see that captured. That was awesome.
Thanks.
So, but that's going to sort of dictate where the next level is. But I just want to get sharper, crisper, better colors, whatever the heck that means. So just increase my photons somehow. Yep.
Well, I just got to start a venture too, and it hasn't been much of a learning curve. I know that's kind of mean for me to say to you, so, but I've been using it with the Canon EF lenses there, and the only tips I can get. Well, let me ask you, what kind of camera are you using? Let's start with that.
I'm just using that the 385, the ASI.
Okay, all right. So you're using.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you said that already. Okay.
Yes. So I had to play a lot with all the different adapters and spacers to try to narrow in the range of focus.
Okay. All right.
So.
Okay. Well, we pretty much had to suggest that. So.
But that's why I was thinking about that's why I was asking about the 5D, because that you can get those used where they're actually pretty decent, and they're not at a bad price.
Yeah, I like the sensor of the 5D was really good. My only complaint about it is it'll expose flaws at the corners of the lens because of that full frame, and so you've got to be prepared to crop in a little bit what you get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dave, you mentioned you like motion, which got me thinking of a question for Mark. Have you ever tried to do that with a planet? If you did that like night after night with a planet, would it move too much for it to work, or?
No, if you want to see something and let me share, I'll show you something that I've done to answer that question directly.
Yeah, sure. You have my permission.
All right.
Dave, that's something you could do, is do a planet like that.
I gotta find it first, so.
Is it that's sort of where the name came from, right? Originally, I think the idea of the wanderer, because they saw them wandering over time. So that's just. But it'd be cool. I'd love to see the image.
I'm going to share again here. This is on my webpage, so anybody can see it. But right there, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's Pluto. So obviously you can do what you're talking about pretty easily. This was taken with an 8-inch Newtonian on a sweltering day in the summer. But it's easy, to capture motion of the planets.
Was that over a day, a couple of days, or how?
Let me read my notes here. It was over several hours.
Okay.
It was 14.1 and I went this was from 11:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m.
Okay, you ain't doing a single night.
So it moved that much in just a few hours.
Cool.
And it's easier to do the bright planets just with a camera lens.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, anybody have anything else to show? Favorite objects in image?
I have one.
Okay.
It's no, it's not. I don't know if it's my favorite. It's one I took the last month, and let's see. I hit share screen.
Yes.
And
Like the window.
I think it's this one. Okay. And share. Yeah. Did that come up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
November.
Yeah, I've been having some issues with my mount holding polar alignment, so I've been dealing with that and some issues of flexure and movement. So I think I've got that under control with both my telescopes, the 94 and the 72, and more specifically with the 94, because it's a telescope that wasn't meant for really astrophotography, and it's like 33 years plus old. But I've done a number of things, and the one thing is I switched out the guide scope, the 50 millimeter, with a 32 millimeter, which is smaller, more compact. It sits closer to the scope. The camera fits more securely, and there's less movement. And I've done some other things with star washers and folded over 220 wet dry sandpaper in the dovetail attaching the cradle. But anyway, this was taken with my 72 millimeter f6 up at the gun club. I Bortle 5, and this represents, well, this is the Cocoon Nebula, and this represents 3 hours of exposure, or 30, let's see, 60. No, this was taken with the L-Enhance filter, and this would be 36 5-minute exposures
Okay.
with my ASI 294 MC at a gain of 180, temperature -10. And I processed it in Cyril, GIMP, Nebulosity, and then finished off with Topaz AI. And you can start to see the nebulosity around it. There's a lot of dust, and it really needs like another 2 or 3 hours to really bring that in. If I increase the exposure, the stars really kind of get bright, and the cocoon gets a little too bright. The other thing is, I had a field flattener on it, and I didn't realize it. I had the back focus set for 52 millimeters instead of a 54.5 or 55.
Okay.
I didn't realize that until later when I brought out the calipers and actually measured it to the camera body from the field flattener, and then added 6.5 millimeters to get to the sensor. And that's why it looks a little funky on the corners with stretching and maybe focus in that. But otherwise, I kind of like the dark areas,
That's cool.
and that kind of looks pretty good.
Don, what scope did you say you used here? It was a 72 millimeter what?
Yeah, so it's a Williams f6 doublet ED.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had it for a number of years, and yeah.
I always hear you talk about your 4-inch, but I didn't know you had this one.
Yeah. This I usually use that with the focal reducer. It gets me down to 344 millimeters, which is nice. I can just get in the total the Veil Nebula in that at that focal length with the 294, the 4/3 camera, and that. But it's unfortunate that the stars are kind of messed up towards the corners, because otherwise they're looking pretty good in that. But oh well.
Just cropped it a little bit.
yeah, but you know that I didn't want to crop it because it is I think the dark areas kind of look kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool with the wider field. I'd imaged it a little bit about a year and a half ago. I didn't know there's that much dust over there. You're piquing my interest.
Yeah. I think tomorrow night, if the weather holds out, Mike Mantini and I are gonna head up to a guy that lives 4.5 miles from my house, Ian Stewart, and he has a observatory, a permanent observatory in his backyard. He has 30 acres, and I think 16 acres of it is clear. And he has a 8-inch f4 photonewtonian, in the observatory. So it'd be kind of, if the weather holds, it'd be kind of great to set up and see his equipment and that. And yeah, otherwise we usually image up at the Sir Walter Gun Club in Creedmoor. And the skies up there are anywhere from 4.5 to 5 usually. And that maybe more 5 most of the time, but it's been 4.5 at times.
So I take it, what you're saying, I've been saying this to just about everybody, to take it to the next level, you just want to get the more of that nebulosity, the hydrogen alpha to show up.
Yeah, without trying to overstretch it and maintain the darkness in the darker areas. Yeah, without blowing the stars out either. And I don't really.
Stars are perfectly peppered in the middle, but yeah, I see what you mean as far as the corners looking ugly, but I think what you got right smack in the middle, that's like a happy medium for something like this, because when it comes to something like Naveen's picture of the iris, and then this one, the stars contrast well with the dust that's laying on top of it. So it's like if you, a lot of people, they don't like areas with too much star material, because it's almost as if it's like noise. You're optically, you just get so bombarded by all the stars, you don't really pay attention to what the picture is trying to, what you're trying to image. And so they do all that shading of the stars and whatnot. I mean, I do it all the time, but yeah, for something like the iris that Naveen goes with, like you have here with Cocoon, yeah, I feel like the stars help contrast the dust a lot better.
Yes, I agree.
Because I mean, it's like all the stars are like mostly bright and white, whereas the dust is, well, dust and silhouetted in black. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The other thing I still have a lot to learn in processing, and I've had issues using layers in GIMP. I end up with these huge files I can't get rid of from my hard drive. I've tried some DOS routines. I don't know. So I should get some different software and do.
Well, there you go. That's how you take it to the next level. So
yeah. But that's it. That's all I have.
Very nice. Star colors are good too. I can tell that you're not just having white there. You have actual temperature color to the stars. That's nice.
Yep. And what do I need to do to get out? Just stop share?
Should be at the very top. There should be a red area that says stop share. Very good. Okay. All right. Thanks, Don. Anybody else have anything else to share? No? Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, that was the whole topic, just sharing what's your favorite object to image. And but usually the second half of the meeting we dedicate to images that we've taken since last time. And so if anybody has anything they want to show, does anybody have any better images they would like to show?
I've got some I could share.
All right.
You want to be?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I don't remember when I've taken these pictures. I had a kind of a backlog. But anyway, this is with the 150 PDS and the 533 MC again, dumbbell nebula. This may be like, this should be on my list of favorites, I guess. I keep coming back to this guy too. I've got another one I'm still trying to process from the Esprit that I haven't quite gotten right. So someday I'll show that too.
So I'm sorry if I came in late with that. Did you say this was RGB or?
Yes, this is RGB.
Okay, so nothing narrow, no narrow band in that. Okay.
Yep, just a UV IR cut.
And just multiple shots? Is that what brings it out? Because I'm trying to figure that out with my gear. So it's literally just the extent of the exposure, like full time, or what with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
RGB?
So for this one, it's an hour and change, so it's like 1.1 hours. There's another one. I did a single exposure of this a while back. Let me find it.
So wait a minute, Naveen, you took this for, it was a single exposure or
No,
one?
no, 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 no. This is not a single. This is a single exposure.
Okay, all right.
No, the other one was 2-minute exposures, I think.
Over
Uh,
1 hour.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
this,
30 exposures. Okay.
yeah, this is a single 5-minute exposure with no calibration frames. With the same setup. So dumbbell's a pretty bright object. And if you can't do 5 minutes, you're gonna get something from this, or your favorite Dave, Ryan would definitely show something in short exposures. But yeah, the more you add, generally the brighter things can get. And it also has to do with the processing a bit. You look at the stars are a little brighter in the other one. Every time I process something, it looks different. Even with the same data set. It's just like, what's your mood today? So that's one. This is with the L Extreme filter on the same setup to the 150 PDS and the 533 MC. And of a kind of a HA RGB, so taking the colors as they came off the camera, but extracting red for HA and using that as the luminance. So 2.6 hours.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you don't get like the fancy show, but it's cool. And it's got the pizza delivery guy down here in the corner.
What?
Yeah, he's running, he's got carrying pizza.
Yeah. Thanks to Chris, like he points out all these fun stuff. So there's, legs, back, he's leaning forward, got a pizza box.
Oh my goodness.
I see it. I see it. You
Somewhere.
guys are getting into my territory here. This is
Oh my goodness.
this is a Rorschach test.
When I posted
I'll tell you what
this-
it means later, Naveen.
Well, I came up with it, so don't hold him to it.
Uh-oh, okay.
Yeah,
Chris.
no, this is all Chris. There's another, like if you go wider, there's like a frog up top to the side up here somewhere too. So
That my wife saw that too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
so the tip is, if you want to find all the hidden things, show it to Chris.
Well, my favorite, what I want to go and do, I'll bring it up when we get around to it, is I think you know what I'm talking about, the Deadpool Nebula. You know which part I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, Pelican.
Yeah, it's near the Pelican Nebula. Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like sandwiched between North America and Pelican. But
Yep. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It took me a long time to really see it, but it also took me a
come
long
on,
time to see the
everybody, it's
Pelican.
obvious. That's what they
Whole
got about
channel
doing,
of
is
these
using the
things.
630 and just like sit on that and then just like sell it off as in, yeah, this is the Deadpool Nebula.
Yeah.
Everybody would
Um,
recognize it.
All right. Oh, why is it not going? Okay. Helix Nebula. This one's pretty low on the horizon, so shooting this between my house and my neighbor's house, I don't get much time on it. I gave up at, I think this is 2.5 hours total with the L Extreme. Same setup as the previous image. I think it turned out pretty cool. It's basically HOO. And then this is with the ASI 2600 mm on the 150 PDS Western Vale, or a section of it. So the witch's broom over here. I can't remember which star that is, but some funky halos from the hydrogen alpha, Pickering's triangle. And this is HOO narrowband with RGB stars.
It's like nature was trying to make one of those 3D images with red green glasses to try that. Put some glasses on, see if it jumps out at you.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those where I really like that green and red. I don't wanna, I've played around with so many others wacky color combinations in earlier shots of the Veiled Nebula. And this is
Naveen,
nice.
you're getting a lot of great results from that 6-inch reflector. It's
That
just
is
amazing.
just
I am
gorgeous.
loving it. And I've got problems, like I haven't gotten tilt quite nailed down, but unless you really look, it doesn't matter.
And what's your mount?
I've got the EQ6R Pro.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't struggle with it at all. Doesn't.
No, I'm RA struggles just for anything, but that this one is it's lighter than I was running with the 120 the Skywatcher Esprit 120 ED earlier in the year, which is like another 10 pounds heavier. And I was thinking moving to this would get better. It didn't really make much of a change. The mount can handle quite a bit. Like they say 44 pounds for imaging, and I haven't pushed it that hard, but I've put like 30 something pounds on it. And it's worked fine.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I've got a couple I can show. It's tough to follow Naveen though.
Very good.
All right, so you were asking before, like, what your favorite object. So this was my favorite object a couple weeks ago. It's the first time I've been able to do the Heart Nebula because I haven't had narrow band imaging until now. But it's got lots of nice little features in it. Are any of these in the call catalog? Do any of these have names? Any little pointy little bits over here or anything? You got any pizza guys or?
Well, no, I haven't looked at that.
You
one
got to give
carefully,
Chris a
but
little
yeah.
time with it. He'll come up with it.
He'll see something.
Keep talking and I'll let you know when I come up with it.
We'll go on to the other one. Let's see. And then a couple weeks later, I did this one for Halloween, and then this was my favorite object. And so this is the ghost and Cassiopeia. That's a very cool looking object.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty.
That is great.
That is very
Yeah.
cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Give us some specs on that, Jim.
So this was with the Meade 70 millimeter f5 quad, and then with the ZWO ASI 2600. And I have to go back to the technical card to remember what I did with it. So you can see all there. So I ended up shooting HARGB. I actually took some luminance data, but it didn't add anything, so I got rid of it. But it looks like I ended up with how much integration time? 7 hours. So I spent a lot of time on it. I'm usually 2 hours max. So for me to go 7 hours on an object, that was pretty dedicated. I usually don't have the patience to go that long.
Well, that was absolutely worth it. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really nice. Really
Got one
nice.
for Halloween too.
That is really nice.
Thanks.
Anybody going to share any moon pictures?
Yeah, it's got to have something.
I've got a couple, and it was just with my Canon SX60 and on the new Star Adventure mount. And I shared one or two somewhere with the other stuff we were all doing, but hang on a second. Let me see if I can get to it. Clips. And I had some as my background, so let me, oh, that's right. I got to get to the share part. Sorry. And is that showing up?
Yep, we got it.
Yeah. And then just played with it a little bit. I was fighting it disappearing behind my neighbor's house. So I just had to get out there and just start firing at it. And this was a little bit early during the eclipse. But the Star Adventure has really made a difference in terms of just being able to sit on something for a while, take the longer exposures, and because I was having trouble with focus before with that exact camera, and now it's doing beautifully because it'll, you know, there's a lunar setting on that too, and so I've been using that with it, and it just really allows you to kind of get in there with it. It was a nice evening with that.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty colors on the moon then.
What time did you get up?
I got up about, I had that little note. I got up about 4:15. No alarm set, just knew it was happening. So just happened to pop out and then just, as I said in my note, I ran out in my pajamas and bare feet. I never have seen that before, so they're used to that. And then ran back in and then ran out just to the equipment. And like I said, I'm just very pleased with that mount so far, especially with some of the older gear. Again, these are the cameras from back in my bird watching days that I'm now being able to you know, fire up there. I've also got that new, it's not new, but the Canon hack disc that allows you to take some of my older digital cameras and now do extended exposures and some other stuff. And I'm just learning how to do that part, but that's again, just using existing stuff to play with. So it's been kind of neat. So.
How many lenses do you have, just out of curiosity?
How many lenses?
Yeah.
I've just got 3, but then I've got, you know, I've kept all my old cameras. I've cameras going way back. So I've got some, you know, like I said, the SX60, which is an excellent, it's 65 times magnification, gives you the equivalent of about, I think it's 247 millimeters on it, and does a really credible job in terms of some of the only thing that one I have not been able to get the hack to work on it yet. So I'm only at a maximum of 15 seconds for my exposures. But you know, I've got an old Cadiotropic that I'm experimenting with. That's a 600 millimeter. So I'm just trying to see what I can get going with some of my older stuff. So,
Mark, you had something like that, didn't you?
Yeah, Dave, I've got an old, God, I can't remember who made it, but it's a 600 millimeter f8. Is yours that by any chance?
yes, it's a, you know, just the Cadiotropic.
Yeah, Cadiotropic.
Yeah, however you say that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of. It's a cool lens. It's pretty slow, but it's
Yes.
pretty sharp.
Yes.
I've got a moon picture I'll share if anybody wants to see it.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. I did this really low tech. So I got up, I waited until the moon was almost completely full into the eclipse, and then got up and put my camera on the tripod and went out and stood in the street, because that's the only way I could see the moon without trees. And so this is my Canon T3i with an old Nikkor 180 millimeter f2.8 lens, 1 second.
Got those are stars, right?
Oh yeah, lots of stars.
Yeah, that looks cool. I like that.
It's not super sharp because it wasn't tracked, but it still worked out okay for the minimum effort that I wanted to put in it.
How long was it? The exposure, sorry. How long was it?
Oh, and 1 second.
Oh, 1 second. Okay.
But your ISO setting must have been pretty.
Oh,
frank.
yeah, it was 800.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at that focal length, I think 1 second's probably acceptable. Yeah.
Yeah, and the lens is, again, the lens is f2.8, so it's fast. So that's mine.
Okay, beautiful.
I got a
All
couple
right.
from the eclipse.
Anybody else?
I got a couple, Chris, from the eclipse.
All right, let's see them.
See that?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is I configured my 14-inch mead in the observatory to about f6, and that let me get the whole moon
Wow.
on the frame of the D850 camera. So
But wait a minute, what size is this stuff?
it's a 14-inch mead
Oh,
Schmidt-Castle
okay,
mead.
14-inch. Okay.
Yeah, but it's f10, but I had it configured to f6 for this, so the whole moon would fit.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you said 40-inch. I was like, my God.
No.
That's amazing.
Well, that's in the future plans there. So
Yeah, very good.
Johnny, which camera?
Nikon D850.
Oh, okay.
It's a full
That's
frame.
just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty eclipse. Not as dark as the previous one, what, back in May, and that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a dark eclipse.
Is this HDR or is it totality that we're seeing?
No, it's during totality. It's you know, that northern edge, northern limb of the moon was pretty bright.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly early in totality. And I got one other one, if I can get back to it here. Let's see.
Huge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like it.
You see that one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is during totality as twilight was brightening the sky and the moon was setting. It had been about 3 weeks since I shot a picture of the Stedman Water Tower, so I figured it was time to do another one. So this is about a block from my house, so I had to hustle over there before sunrise. But I couldn't follow the moon much more than much after this picture was done because the sky was getting really bright. This is with a 500mm lens. So,
How could you see it visually very well?
yeah, I could see it visually, but I would say 5 minutes after this picture was made, the moon was still technically above the horizon, but I couldn't see it anymore. So the sky was just too bright. So,
Beautiful.
The first one you showed, and it's Johnny, right?
yeah,
The first one you showed, what's your exposure there? Like how long did you have to sit on it?
It was about 2 seconds at f6
Wow.
with the 14-inch mead and
Yeah, got the rest of it. That's just,
an ISO 400, I think, something like that.
yeah.
How did you get so lucky as to those trees in your yard not to block that?
Well, they did. After a while, it ducked behind a branch, which I knew it would. I scoped it out from the observatory and knew it was going to go behind the branch to my west and then pop back out. But by the time it popped back out, the sky was so bright that I just jumped in the car and headed over to the water tower. So
That's stunning.
Not ideal, but I had maybe 20 minutes or 25 minutes of totality before it went behind any obstruction. So that was okay.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
That's all I got.
All right, very good. Well, I organized this just now, so let's see how this works. I don't remember the full sequence of it, but let's see. So I did everybody saw I went to NC State to do it at the Bell Tower. I did a bracketed series of exposures to make an HDR out of it. And so this one, since this is the lowest one, I'm pretty sure this one was on 1/500th of a second. So, and you're taking you're taking a picture of the bell tower there. It's pretty bright. 1/500, you should have seen more. Well, one of the problems is that the bell tower, even though I was like more than 100 feet away from it, is that it's so close that you have to stop down the lens considerably to make it so that the bell tower is in focus and the moon,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of miles away, is also in focus. So that was one of the problems I had when doing it. But anyway, that's 1/500 or 1/500th of a second. So let's see, maybe it'll work. And so I don't know what all these exposures are in between, but there's the bell tower starting to show up. You can just barely see the moon showing up there. Yeah. Then a reflection started showing up, which didn't surprise me because there's street lights all over that place. I had a lens, what I use as a dew shield for it when I'm using this is with a 200 millimeter lens. Sorry about that, with the Canon DSLR. But I used the dew shield that I would normally use with this lens because I use this lens as my guide scope as well. But even that didn't help. So, but that's the longest exposure. I believe that is 1 second right there. And so this was I had to stop it all the way down to F18 to get this to work. So, but in the end, I bracketed it and I stone clamped the clone stamped the reflection out, and that's what you get right there. So my hope when I was thinking about it as I was processing it, I was just like, what I should have done is that had I know exactly where to set up, I would have done a time lapse where the moon, I don't know, can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Probably would have got the moon was moving kind of like this, is what it was doing. And what I wish I would have gotten is like when the moon was like maybe like right here. And you may know where I'm going with this, is that I probably would have done a bracketed series like I just showed you once every 20 seconds. That way I could see it, do a time lapse of it going across the field. And at the same time, you would see the clock moving really fast. Okay, so I was just kicking myself. I was like, I should have done that, darn it. Because that would have been so awesome. But I don't know. Maybe we'll get another chance at a different clock tower or something. So, anyways,
Still turned out well. How many students drop by and ask questions?
actually, there were no students out, but there was another photographer that came out there. He's like, "Oh, you had the same idea." It's like, "Yeah." I came out, and it was funny. We were doing this. I don't know what's there now, but for any of those who know how much, but remember some of the older restaurants on Hillsborough Street. I know you do, Mark. This was really close to where Daryl's used to be.
Oh yeah, on the corner.
Mhm.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you were shooting in that direction.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird. You would think that, you would think that Hillsborough Street is directly west. It's not. That Monday, after lunch, I went to lunch at a pizza place my wife and I go to sometimes, and I went out there to get pizza and also to go and measure exactly where the moon was going to be. It should be doable because I looked at it on Google Maps at first. I was like, okay, looks like it might work. And then went out there and used 3 different compass apps and Sky Safari to see if it would be in the right, right around the right place. And yeah, it was going to work. So anyways, that's what I got.
That's cool. I like it.
So. Okay. All right. So anybody else have anything else to share? No? Okay. So one business item, well, sort of two. First off, does anybody know of a topic that we want to go over next month? Because one of the things that we're going to do next month, or what I would need people's help with next month, and that'll be the next bit of business, is that they're having the club is having their indoor meeting on the 16th instead of the 9th, because usually in the month of December is what I'm talking about. Usually what they'll have their indoor meeting or their what is it? Their RAC ops on the second Friday of the month, and then the imaging meeting would come the next Thursday afterwards. So what I'm getting at is that they moved the meeting because the museum needed the room at the time. They moved the meeting to the 16th. So what I was going to ask is, everybody, would it be okay if we not have an imaging meeting next month? Because one, I don't really have a topic right now in mind. And two, if we were to do a meeting, they're going to be back to back, which some people don't like. I mean, because they're going to have an imaging meeting on that Thursday, and immediately the next day, on Friday, they're going to have the indoor meeting. Because the only other option,
The
what?
indoor meeting's imaging, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's the next thing I was going to talk about. Is
You
that
might as well combine them.
yeah, I guess, yeah, well, technically, yeah, I guess it would be a combination of the two. All right. Do we have consensus there? No imaging meetings, just that the next indoor meeting is going to be the imaging meeting as well.
Good
Everybody
with
cool with
me.
that?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
All
sense.
right. Well, that helps me as far as coming up with the topic. Okay. All right. So yeah. So the next meeting is going to be all about. It's going to be the imaging showcase, which we do at least once a year. And so what I need is imagers willing to present their the results that they've gotten for the year 2022. So does anybody here feel like they can make that meeting? It's going to be at 7:30 on the 16th.
Yep, I'll be there.
You'll be there? Okay.
It's going to be in a regular room at the museum.
Yeah.
And we could do hybrid, so virtual participants as well, if folks can't drive in.
Yeah. So I guess you could just share your screen from wherever you are as well. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're there at the museum, I don't know if they can bring their own laptop and share from that, or you can just give them a jump drive or something. But yeah, I don't know how that will work. Probably should. Yeah, that's going to be kind of. I didn't think about that. That's going to be kind of awkward how that could play out.
Chris, we may want to have just like one presentation put together with all the images. Then we
Okay.
don't have to do switching about.
Okay. All right, that's something I'm gonna have to get the ball rolling on here. All right. Okay, so Naveen, you can present. Jim, did you say you were going to present?
I think so. I can't commit to that date 100% yet, but I'm pretty sure I can do it.
Okay. All right. So we got Jim, we got Naveen, we got me. Steve
I could
Christensen said
I
I
could
can
probably
use
do
some of
some.
his material. So, anybody else?
I could probably do something, Chris.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, but yeah, I'm going to put this out to the group this week, or actually the week is about to end so soon. About getting more images, imagers, see if they're willing to present at the next meeting. Okay, but yeah, I like Naveen's suggestion of combining everything together into one presentation. So, okay. All right, does anybody have anything else to talk about? Otherwise, signing off.
I have a question, Chris.
Yeah, what's up?
Do we know anything about a winner of the photo contest with the theater?
Well, I'm leading the meeting, so forgive me, it was me. So, yay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, here, they asked, okay, so, well, if they ask you to, give an image that you think relates to the, what do you call it, Henrietta Leavitt's work. And so, I didn't really have one, But what I thought, I was like, well, you know, I understand the spirit of the performance. It's all about a woman living in the early part of the 20th century, trying to make her place in the world as far as being a scientist. Well, basically all I said was that, well, I'm a scientist myself, so I understand how much passion goes into doing something that you love to do. And so that's why I chose the Heart Nebula. And it was just, really simple because I didn't even have it in color. I just had the H alpha, and I was like, I don't know really what else to do here. So I put that on there, and I guess I guess fell in love with it, the heart. So yeah, I was shocked. I was like, really, you really like this kind of thing? Okay, so because there were so many other entries that I was pretty sure were just going to blow this thing out of the water, but it's their performance. So I told them, yeah, because they asked when we first talked with them. It was, I think it was Naveen, Anna, and me. We were talking with them about doing the photo contest. All the details, and originally what they wanted, we were thinking is like either Naveen or I would judge everybody's images, and I brought up, I don't think that's a good idea because I'm gonna enter something, and I knew Naveen was going to, so that's what we did. That's how that contest played out. We submitted images to them, and they picked whoever the winner was. Now, opening night and probably on RAC night as well, they're going to project the other entries onto a screen there during the performance. So anybody who's walking by, they'll see everybody else's work. They'll be credited and whatnot, and everything like that. So yay me! Be happy for me, guys.
Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, that's
Good
great.
job.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, you should
That is
get some of
actually-
the physical media. They're gonna have that printed on like handouts and whatnot.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
to keep.
Yeah, I was shocked that it made it. So I guess on the plus side, as far as what's meaningful with this image though, is this was the very first image I took with the ASI 183 when I first got it. So yeah, the Heart Nebula. Jim, I'll let you know what scary things I've seen other than a heart later on.
Yeah, let me know what's in there.
It actually looks more like a zebrafish heart. Actually, the zebrafish heart is two-chambered. It's not four-chambered like a human heart. Even though this is a picture of a Valentine's Day heart. I don't know what you would call that. There must be a Latin term for it. Who knows? But anyway. Okay, but yeah, that's who won, me. So. Anyways, okay. All right. Anybody have anything else? All right. Okay. Well, good night, everybody, and we'll see you, I guess, at the imaging showcase, on 16th of December.
All righty. So
Okay.
long.
Great.
Not everyone.
Good
Right on.
night.